Hi everyone, and welcome to Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, June 2021, Curiosity, Courage, and Contemplation reading. Hi, I'm so sorry Pisces that this is so late in the month. Hopefully I'll be ahead of the game for next month. For all of you that are new and returning, welcome. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren, and all of my content on this channel and on my website really focus on the Triad of Engagement, which is a tool that I've created that I use in my private practice that demonstrates how working with the three basic principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, when applied together, keep you fully engaged and in flow with the unique energetic imprint of your life. Is also here to help you answer your very own I am question so that you can re-engage with life in a more authentic, meaningful, and emotionally fulfilling way. If you are interested in learning more about the Triad of Engagement and how it can help liberate you from the, I'd say, less than nice feelings of frustration, anxiety, and detachment, and helps reconnect you with the feelings of passion, purpose, place, and emotional fulfillment, you can click on the link below to view a video that goes into detail about the three principles and how you can apply them together. All right, Pisces, let's jump right into your reading. So this reading will basically be looking at the three different energies of curiosity, courage, and contemplation. We will pull a card for each to show the energies that you're working with in each category. I will then pull a card for advice from Spirit, and then we will pull a card for what I call more of a card of encouragement from Spirit, or the unknown, or God, or whoever you choose to believe that messages come in from for you. All right, Pisces, so energetic-wise, June has been quite a month so far as if you're into astrology and you've taken a look at the planetary placements. I don't go much into astrology here because I am not a professional astrologer. I am aware and relatively versed in astrology, but I'm a little bit more knowledgeable in numerology and then of course in tarot. But looking at just the planetary placements in June, they have been very, what I call kind of pressurizing. They are placements that are meant to really push us to look within. And in addition to that, the numerology of the month itself is the number 11. And the number 11 is a master number in numerology that really focuses on the connection between ourselves and the divine. If you think about the number 11, it looks like two number ones side by side. So it really focuses on engaging that element of understanding yourself as a singular, unique spiritual being, and understanding that in relationship to every other element of the external to yourself, including everybody else as their own unique spiritual being. And how, with the relationship, bringing those two together in equal balance can actually help open that portal to the divine or to the unique, intelligent design of the universe. And that's really what this month is about. It's a portal month of being able to kind of see beyond what it is currently to help us evolve towards, to catch a glimpse basically through this doorway of catching a glimpse to what is to come for us, what we are being asked to grow into so that the whole collective experience can elevate. So it's a really beautiful month, but it's a month that's really pushing us to see ourselves in relationship to others. So as I'm working, and here we, right off the bat, we have your underlying energy for curiosity is appreciation. It's number 15. And don't worry, I will go into each one of these cards in detail after I pull them all. Now I'm going to pull a card for courage. So seeing the underlying energies for courage. And when I talk about curiosity, we start with curiosity because curiosity is our interaction with the external environment. So curiosity engages the principles of optimism, openness, receptivity to our external environment, to the part of our experience that I consider is the uncontrollable, unknown, ever-changing part of our experience. And in addition to that, I look at it more as this is the predestined quality to our experience, and that we have to remain curious to it, because in being curious and open and receptive, this is where we start to build that healthy relationship with our external environment, understanding that we should not fear what we cannot control. Instead, we should greet it with a sense of awe and wonder and optimism as to what possibilities it has in store for us uniquely to engage with it, so that we can unlock our highest potential. So as we move into our position of courage, courage is the seat of our own personal power. It's where our free will lies in engaging courageously with the unknowns in our external environment. This is where we get to understand ourselves and our own personal power. So we get to become aware of what makes us unique. And this can be our unique abilities, our hopes and dreams, our needs, and how we can, by just simply being aware of them, when we are making decisions and deciding to take action, we can courageously choose to act in accordance with ourselves authentically, so that when we do engage with our external environment, we are doing so in a way that is bringing our unique gifts into that relationship. Because we don't want to hide who we are. We're all meant to fulfill a specific role, a specific destiny. And especially you, Pisces. Pisces is such a beautiful energy of, you guys are symbolized by the two fish. And one fish is seen as being able to swim up towards heaven, and one is the ability to swim down below to understand the darkness. So you have this beautiful ability to bring together light and dark and understand both at the same time. And it's a beautiful understanding, and it's a difficult understanding as well. So we have indecision, number 8 for courage. Looks like you guys might be working with the energy of decision making this month. And then we have contemplation. So contemplation is the third and final principle that we work with in the Triad of Engagement. And it is the third and final, not to say that we stop and don't continue to work with the 3 principles, but contemplation comes at the end, after we have taken in what comes from our external environment, engaged with it from a sense of a place of power, from our ability to control our actions and decisions while engaged with the external environment, creating what I like to call the dynamic tension. And then we go to contemplation. And contemplation is where we engage with the concepts of reflection, integration, and self-education. It's also the seat of our personal growth, elevation, and transcendence. And why is this? Because this is the point where we get to take what has come in, the action we took, and now we process the consequence of what came from that action. And we get this beautiful chance to self-learn, to continually educate ourselves through our personal direct experience with our external environment. We don't need to go back to school for a second or third time to learn about ourselves, to engage with our own unique abilities. Additionally, this is where we can learn from our mistakes, or learn from actually the positive consequences. And this is where we are able to then integrate those so that we can continue to grow and elevate on all levels of our experience equally. So just as we grow physically, we also grow on our emotional, mental, and spiritual planes as well. And oftentimes those can kind of grow at different rates. In fact, most people have a very underdeveloped spiritual and emotional aspect to their experience, because our society today really focuses on physical growth. So that can be, obviously, we just grow physically. Can't change that we grow from being a baby to an adult. But there is this component of also we focus a lot on our current, in our current culture to, you know, go to the gym and learn how to push yourself physically to grow your awareness of what you're capable of, in addition to the mind, which is where the majority of education today focuses on that component, which is growing your mind, growing your ability to rationalize and connect dots on that level. But we really don't tap into the emotional, intuitive, and spiritual side to our experience. And that's really where we can that's really where disconnection happens from us engaging authentically as ourselves, because we start to over rationalize and we get stuck in the mind, and we don't understand when we start to experience illnesses and breakdown in the body, that this is tied then to the two other sides to ourselves that have probably, by the point we get to in our 20s, kind of have atrophied. And so that's really where, and I know I've experienced this personally, so that's really where contemplation comes in. It allows us to reflect and integrate on all those levels. Now for you guys, you have man holding a coin, number 43. And for the underlying energy for this category, which I'll go over kind of as our final wrap up, we have angel of balance, number 48. Okay. So Pisces, now I'm going to take a look at what the advice is from Spirit. And when I talk about Spirit, we each have our own. Now, it is my personal perspective that there is a true underlying spirit that connects us all, and that we are all part of that. We are all a unique divine part that we have a place to fill that another cannot. So we are a singularity among the entire collective. Okay, so we have 3 here. We have trust, memories, and cleanse. And again, I'll go over all of these in just a moment after I'm finished drawing the cards. We have, okay, let's see what our advice is here for courage and our seat of taking action. So I look at it, I call what we can't, the unexplainable aspect, the unexplainable and what I feel we all seem to kind of understand on some intuitive level. There is a direct connection between everything, be it people, plants, animals, from the smallest molecule to the largest, you know, star in the sky. There is this underlying connection between everything, but we have a hard time explaining that because we're only people. And there's always going to be things that we don't know, and that's for a reason. It's to keep us engaged with our lives. If we knew everything, we would simply just kind of float through life, and what would be the purpose? We wouldn't be learning anything. We wouldn't be engaging with anything. So we have gratitude for your seat of courage, and then for contemplation. But I don't like to push my views on you as far as how you explain the unexplainable. So if you are more religious in some capacity and you view messages or the connectivity coming from God or from a specific entity, or you are more open and you don't believe in any of that, but yet you know that there's something, maybe you believe more on the physics side of things, that there's the unexplainable, and you just call it the unexplainable. You're just open and curious to what is. Then these are just simple energy readings that are coming in to be able to be part of that greater connective unknown, and to help guide you and provide you with information. And I'm just showing you how we all have the ability to utilize something that is demonstrative to be able to pick up on those subtle energies and be able to read them and interpret them. So for contemplation, we have light and soul power. 2 cards I love. And as the underlying energy, we have animal kingdom. Okay, and so our third and final card here, Pisces, is going to be that card of encouragement. And As I'm looking now at my screen, it does not look like we're going to have a lot of room to see these cards. I'm going to push everything up just a tiny bit. I'll hold up the cards as I talk about them, and I apologize if you can't quite see. Let me see. Oops, as I knock my camera over, I'll angle this down a little bit as well so you can see more. There we go. Okay. So for your card of encouragement, we have the Age of Light and Share Your Voice for curiosity. And then for courage, and I'm not sure if you guys can hear, but a summer thunderstorm is rolling in. And actually that might be my neighbor starting his car instead. But there is a thunderstorm coming in, so we'll probably hear both. Okay, so for for courage, we have Pleiades and Council of Light. And then for your seat of contemplation, which again is really where we learn how to integrate and reflect and continue to self-educate through direct experience. Let's see. What's going to come through for our Pisces here? Oh. So we have Star Mother. Beautiful. Okay. Final underlying energy for this category is Starseed. Put that down here. Okay, Pisces, let's jump into what I'm seeing on the board. So your first card out for curiosity, which again is engaging the principles of optimism, openness, receptivity to the unknown and the uncontrollable aspect of your life, is appreciation. And this card is really interesting in that it shows a woman standing and admiring a bloom, a flower, from this little patch of blooms behind her here. And the rest of the plants are kind of dead and scraggly and not blooming, but she's able to see and appreciate this little patch, even though the rest is less than desirable. And what this focuses on is showing you that there's always something, no matter how bleak a situation looks, or no matter how you are not fully satisfied with how every aspect of your life is coming into bloom, there's always something to be appreciative for. There's always an element of gratitude. And it's really about finding that little piece within your life that holds a gift for you to appreciate. So when we're thinking about curiosity and being open and receptive to our external environment, this is really making me feel that there is something right now that you, as you move through the rest of this month, to open yourself up to something right now that you are currently not appreciating. Something that is in full bloom that actually, and I'm getting this, it's funny because a lot of other signs this month also got this card, but in varying positions. And there is this quality of, and I think it's because of the energies of the month in general, it's kind of like us being pushed to see what we have not seen, to see the good in our life in areas where perhaps we've been trying so hard, kind of beating our head against the wall in one area, trying to make something happen. And the divine, the external, the predestined is trying to push us to face another direction, to see something else, to take notice of something else that is in full bloom that we can then utilize and move forward with. That's going to be part of us stepping into our destiny. That's going to help us unlock, just through engaging with that aspect of our experience, unlock our unique abilities and probably help realize a hope and dream that is unique to you. So, but with you here, what I'm getting that I didn't get with the other signs is that she's holding this bloom up for others to see. she could simply just have been, she could have had her back turned to us, just admiring the blooms and saying a silent, prayer of appreciation or gratitude. But instead, she's plucked one and she's holding it, and it looks like she's holding it proudly. That she's appreciative of it and she's holding it up for others to see as much as for herself. And she's proud of it. And so that's really where I feel the energy is coming through for you this month, Pisces, is where is something coming to bloom for you that perhaps you've been trying to shy away from, or you've maybe been working on it behind the scenes, and now you're ready to show it. Now you're ready to start to say, it's not about apologizing for every other part of your experience. It doesn't seem to be either bringing you the fulfillment or the other aspects of your external environment that don't seem to be bringing in that level of kind of like what I would call panning out. So, for instance, you may feel right now that you have, let's say these other sides here are like something in work, something in home, creative project, and this maybe is, in another category. Maybe this is another creative project you have. But in all these other sides, they're not coming into bloom. There's something that's not coming to fruition in each one of those areas. But instead of focusing on that, instead of saying, well, I didn't get this promotion at work, and I, didn't get a chance to move into this new house that I wanted, and I didn't, I tried to put myself out there in a creative endeavor and it didn't come to anything. Instead of focusing on that, you're focusing on the one area that you kind of have been cultivating on the side, and now you're ready to show. But this is where you have to be curious. You have to stay open, because you're engaging here with the uncontrollable side to your environment. So it's about staying curious to, if I choose, what's going to happen when I choose to show this part of my current experience to my external environment, which includes every other person that I'm going to be engaging with who could have a opinion, could have a negative response, because we can't control the response of others. We can't control how they choose to act. And the more we understand this, the easier it actually is to make our own actions, because we start to become less and less influenced by how others and their actions actually affect us. Because when we move down into your 3 cards of advice, and we have trust. We have trust, memories, and cleanse. So trust says, while your logical mind is dictating a supposedly clear direction, your soul's inner guidance is urging you to follow an alternative path. The logical path may be one that you consider safe and more familiar, but you could be missing out on boundless opportunities and so much more. So when you think about that, this is really where you're being asked to trust in this little patch that's coming into bloom. This is where we are looking to tap into the other aspects of curiosity, which are a childlike sense of awe and wonder as to how did this, being curious, how did this aspect even come to be? Why did I even start this creative project? Why do I have this need to push myself in this area? Why did I have that need to take that class or read that book and start to develop something on the side? And this is where trust comes in, because the logical mind might take a look at everything else in your environment and say, well, why, everything else seems to be pushing me in the other direction of trying to make these things happen, trying to make those things bloom. Telling me that I need to focus on getting that raise at work instead of focusing on this back creative project, or focusing, this could even be something like you're about to have a child and you're ready to really bring that forward and share that with everybody. but yet maybe the other aspects of your life aren't going so well. And it's one of those things where this is where you're going to have to tap into that awe and wonder around trust, because the external environment is out of our control. All we can do is try to engage as we can, and then really have faith as we engage from here and take action towards the unknown, that we have faith in the divine plan. We have faith that when we bring our free will to engage with destiny, that there's a reason for that. And so this is what you're being asked to have faith in. And then we have memories, and it says, your memories are like diamonds in the treasure chest of your spirit. More and more memories are arising within you. Remember the happier moments with your loved ones who are here in the spirit world, for neither time nor distance can stop the energy of love that you have for one another. And this is a beautiful little reminder that sometimes we get stuck, especially with cleanse. So cleanse really talks about it's time to cleanse yourself on more than just a physical level, obviously on a spiritual, mental, and emotional level. This is, for me, the card that always denotes it's time to let go of the negative stories of the past, the negative thought patterns that we have. And in conjunction with memories, this really brings to mind the side to ourselves that we can focus on the bad memories sometimes. We can focus on the negative memories, the memories where we've been hurt, the memories where our interactions with our family and friends were less than ideal. And instead, what you're being asked to do here is to remember the better times. When we're looking to move away from fear and anxiety, which is what happens when we engage with curiosity, and instead we change that to optimism and openness and receptivity, that we have to start to change our perspective. And that starts with what we remember and how we choose to see the past. So we can sit and choose to see all the negative things in the past, all the times that some relative in your life told you that you weren't good enough, or all the times you tried to do something and you were unsuccessful. And instead, it's time to bring forward the memories of success. The memories where there was that person who said, you're really great at this, or you'd be a really great mother or father. Or, you really have a talent for this. Have you ever thought about doing that? And those are the memories to bring forward. In addition to that, it can even just be simple memories of times where you just felt that you were at ease with somebody. And it brings forward this energy of love. And it's about being open and receptive to what comes through in those times, because that's where the message is going to really, really allow you to see where and how you are meant to show this bloom. Why are you being directed now to take a look at that, and how, in sharing it with others, is it going to bring forward something that you already know? Somebody's already commented in your past, or you've forgotten that you enjoyed doing that you were good with that, or that had been part of your dream at some point. Because then we come down here to your cards of encouragement, and we have the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes, and share your voice. Come out of the cave, persecution, expression. And this is really showing me here that you're being asked to be curious about bringing forward this aspect of yourself, something you have been working on, something that is currently happening and in full bloom in your current environment. And you're meant to share it. Spirit's telling you here, you've been training for this for lifetimes, and whether you believe in past lives or not, this just means that you have been training for this because you were born with this ability. You were born with this desire, with this dream. And now it's time to share it, to share this aspect of yourself. And it's interesting that it says share your voice. And there's this component here at the last word of expression. And I do feel that there's something here that revolves around sharing your voice in some capacity. And it doesn't have to be verbal. Sharing your voice can mean you are doing this through a different art medium. You could be sharing your voice through painting or writing. You could be sharing your voice through actual demonstration in the physical world of what you can do. This is where you're being asked to be curious as to what sharing, how you can share this is actually sharing a part of yourself, is actually sharing your internal voice, which can be expressed in any number of mediums. And so as we move from being curious here, we move then into indecision in your seat of courage, which makes sense, right? I love this card of, she's being faced with two different directions, one path and one path. But then she's facing the middle here. And sometimes what we don't see when we feel like we're faced with two paths and we're afraid. This is where fear can come in. And anxiety around taking action can come in, because we get stuck in this place of, well, what if I choose the wrong path? And in reality, if we understand that we're working with free will versus destiny, as long as we take action in some form to engage with free will, or to engage with destiny, to engage with our external environment, and not try to hide from it, that no matter what we do, it's the right choice in that moment. Because we are being pushed to engage. And it's our free will that's meant to be engaged, because what you don't see is that all roads lead to the same place. So the fact that you're waffling between, if I make the wrong choice, I might miss out, I might not be in my path anymore, or I might miss out on something here. In reality, this is an illusion. In reality, she's faced with just taking one step forward. And as she continues to take those steps forward, she can create her own path in between. And that's her choice, or his choice. And so here, this is, when we talk about courage, this is where we have to take courage. We have to have faith. Courage, the foundation of courage is faith. And that's what allows us to have courage to take action, because we have faith in the outcome. We have faith that there is this element that we are here as a unique spiritual being to be part of a greater collective, and that our interaction with our external environment is part of that divine destiny. It's part of helping us to find our place and purpose and fill it, so that we can truly be of service to everybody else. Because if you think about it, if somebody who has a very specific, unique, specialized ability or gift or need to express, if they don't do so, that part of our experience remains empty. And I like to bring this back to, sometimes when people kind of poo-poo their, let's say, love of animals or something along those lines, and they're like, well, everybody loves animals. And it's like, no, not everybody does love animals. It's a, kind of a sad thing, because I myself am an animal lover, and it's hard to believe that there are some people out there who don't care about animals. But that's the reality, because some people were designed to care about animals to the next level, so that they are the ones that fulfill the roles, that create the adoption centers, that become the activists that help fight to save endangered species. They are the ones that feel called and compelled to do that. And if you're one of those people and you hide from expressing that part of yourself, because for any number of negative, pessimistic, unreceptive reasons, that you end up, no one else is going to fulfill that role. The person who doesn't care about animals is not going to step into that role. And if they're pushed to do so, they're going to do a subpar job in doing it. Which is why the freedom to allow individuals to pursue their own abilities, hopes, and dreams is so integral to the elevation of our collective experience. Because when people are forced into roles that have nothing to do with who they are uniquely and their ability to express that, then where they fit ends up with, basically there's a missing piece in our greater experience. And we lose out on an innovation in that area, or we lose out in somebody being able to help and truly be of service in specific areas. Even if it's just on a small level of being of service to raising a child who will then enter society and become their own person and be a part of service to something as well. So here, this indecision, it's really about, you know that there's something about yourself that you want to share, something about your current experience that you want to share, and something, and that you're being held back in your seat of courage to take action by the fact that it may seem to you like, again, if you follow this, then what about this? What about all the rest of it? And what you're being guided to this month is to really realize the indecision that especially with the number 8. The number 8 in numerology is about personal power. It's about coming back to yourself. And it's about actually bringing in abundance from that place of personal power. And so what this is really denoting to me here is that you have the ability to make a decision. And you don't have to look at this as black or white, one road or another. This is your road. You are already on your road. My belief is that you're never off your road. You're never off your path. It's just that we go through times where we walk in darkness and we become disconnected from the feeling that comes with knowing that we're on our path. And that's where illumination comes in. That's where curiosity and courage and contemplation re-engage us with that. We start to build our internal flame, our internal illumination brighter, so that we can once again see the way forward, see our path, and start to become emotionally fulfilled by noticing the beauty of our path, noticing the power that we have in staying on it, and also seeing the importance of our path and why we're on that path specifically. So for you, it's about realizing that the two different options are an illusion, and it's about just taking those first baby steps of action. Just start to move forward. Don't look at it as going this way or that way. Look at it as, I'm just going to start moving. Then we have, as the advice from Spirit, we have gratitude. And it says, life is one big continuous circle of giving and receiving energy. Be thankful for who and what's in your life instead of complaining about what you don't have. If you focus on gratitude, you'll start to attract prosperity and abundance. And that really kind of ties into this element here of these two different paths being an illusion. That if you look at this as it's just all one big energy loop, and you're meant to continue to walk on your path, that continue to be grateful for what you have, for what the universe is pushing you to express, for what the universe actually gave you as a unique ability to create this thing that now you're going to be curious about sharing with the world. And be grateful that this is a part of you that makes you unique, that makes you stand out from others, that allows you to, that basically not only allows you, but that you're being pushed to express in some form, to share with others because it will be of service. And that's really where we can be the most grateful, is that we do have something special and unique to share with the world, with others, and that it will end up being of service. And so that as you're getting ready to have faith and take those first steps of action, that then for the card of encouragement, we have Pleiades, and it says double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity, along with counsel of light. And it says divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. And this is beautiful. This is where your faith is to come in here, is that your gift, what you're being asked to share as through action as part of your unique self-expression, is being verified here that it's part of being of service to others. It's being called upon now. And this is really where the curiosity component comes into. Like, why now am I being called to express this part of myself? And then wait to see what happens as you start to take action towards it, because this is what's going to end up starting to get the energy moving. What's going to come in? Clearly, it's going to be of help and of service, but maybe you can't quite see how. And so this is where we have to release our tie to the outcome. This is where we have to sit and realize we can't control the external environment. We may think that we're going to share this part of ourselves and it's going to bring in X or Y. And we can even, in a most optimistic and open way, we can still say like, well, I'm hoping it'll bring me money. I'm hoping it'll bring me financial abundance. I'm hoping it's going to have this outcome. And in reality, it might not. But that's nothing to be scared of. It might be that this leads to another opportunity you don't even understand that has a greater, wider, much larger implication that can go past even your wildest dreams for sharing this. So it's about having faith that this is meant to be of service, and then being curious as to how it will be of service. And then for contemplation, we have man holding a coin. And man holding a coin actually has come up in a couple different readings, and it really brings with it a different energy in your reading than it did in the previous ones. For me, in this reading specifically, there's a component of just working with the masculine energy. And when I say masculine, I don't mean male related. I mean, we have masculine and feminine energy. And it's a way for us to apply a word that for feminine energy, it's about receptivity. It's about being creative, but from a place of receptivity. You're allowing things to come into you, and then you can create from that place. Masculine energy is about forward movement. It's about the kind of pushing energy. You're also creating, but instead of waiting to receive, you're moving forward and taking forward moving action. And this is really where I'm looking at this with man holding a coin. It's about looking and being reflective on taking external, more forward moving action, harnessing masculine energy, and where perhaps you've held yourself back in the past, because I'm looking at the coin here, and this is really relating to the pentacles in the tarot, which focus on our physical portion of our experience. And what I'm seeing here is, where have you been, and this is again for you to reflect on, for you to take a look at your life, because it's going to be different for all of you, but where has when you tapped into masculine energy and you've pushed forward, what has it brought you in the physical world? And you take a look at this on all levels. Where has it brought you emotional fulfillment, or has it brought you emotional fulfillment? Has it led to a spiritual growth element? Are you being challenged by where you take action? Or have you been so consumed with having this, and I don't want to say this in a negative way, but where have you been so preoccupied with how things look on the surface in a tangible way, and thinking that that's what you have to work to maintain? That's where your masculine pushing energy needs to go, is towards creating something physical for others to see. And that if it's not physical, then it doesn't exist. Or on the other side, just looking at what has come in the past from where you've put your energies, and how fulfilling has it been. Because I'm feeling in this energy here that whatever is coming through that you're being asked to share now is going to engage you with a true fulfillment on a soul level that goes beyond just the material world. It goes beyond just wanting to get money from this. It goes to such a deeper level that is actually going to, again, be of service at this time for a specific reason. because we have this beautiful, again, two of my two favorite cards in this deck. We have light, which is imagine yourself as a being composed of energy and light, because in reality, that's precisely what you are. You are a powerful being and people are attracted to your brilliance. This is a time to remember how vibrant you truly are. And then we have soul power. Always remember you're a soul that comes with a body, not a body that comes with a soul. Your soul is your true essence, and you have an unlimited supply of soul power at your command whenever you need it. And these two can't go more better, hand in hand better. That this is about remembering there's so much more than just our physical world. I mean, even here, she feels like she has an indecision, or he, because of what she's bringing in what she's actually thinks she's sensing in the physical world. But in reality, when she taps into the spiritual side to herself, and she taps into the emotional side, her intuition, she's going to start to see the illusion, and this will start to clear. And the one singular path for herself where she can take action, where she can have faith that she can take action, will start to be illuminated for her. And so this is really where in contemplation, this is remembering, reflecting on the fact that you are your own unique soul, and you are a being of light, and that you're powerful in that, and that there's an element that you have to tap into your own personal illumination to be able then to be this light to others. And for your card of encouragement, we have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? And I think this is beautiful. This is asking you where you have not, mother aside, whether you had a mother that you had a good relationship with or you didn't. This is more about how can you bring that energy to yourself, and where have you perhaps not done so? Where have you not seen your own light? Where have you not trusted in your own power? And where now are you being asked to do so? And this is the time to start seeing yourself as the perfect being that you are. Even with all your imperfections, it's about seeing the perfection in your imperfections. Perhaps you have a weird, quirky, side to yourself that's going to come out, and that's perfect in its quirky imperfection, in its quirky imperfectness. And if you think about a mother and a child relationship, a mother is going to love her child. In the divine concept of mother and child, obviously it doesn't always happen that way, and it's a sad reality. But in the divine concept of motherly unconditional love, a mother is going to look at her child and never see him or her as ugly. That child will always be perfect in her eyes because it is a part of her. And it is where she gives her divine love. And how can you give that to yourself? And where have you not, this is a great place to reflect onto where you have not received that in your own personal life, and where you have robbed yourself of that from receiving that either from others in your life or from yourself just personally, blocked yourself off from that energy simply because you didn't feel yourself worthy, or simply because you didn't have a good relationship with your mother. And to kind of sum all of this up, I'm going to go down the energies over here. So we have Angel of Balance. And that's a really kind of neat underlying energy for this here. It shows that, everything in its place and a place for everything. And that something may seem out of balance. We may feel that, there's so many aspects of our life that are out of our control or not coming to fruition the way we wanted, and yet here we have this weird part of our existence that is. and why? But what you're being asked to have faith in is that there is this divinity and grand intelligent design to everything. It is the theory of everything. There's something that connects everything, and there's this intelligent design. And there is this element that everything balances out over time. And so at this point, you might not see, the harmony or the balance in pursuing this one aspect when, again, everything else seems to be out of balance. But what you're going to be shown is that there is this underlying intelligent design and that everything is in balance. And part of that is there is a time for everything, and now is the time for you to share this part of yourself. And then we move down into animal kingdom. And animal kingdom's an interesting one because it can, it's such a specific, a specific card. So when we look at the card itself, it says animals of all types are extraordinary creatures and miraculous. Animals of all types are extraordinary creatures and miraculous gifts to us. They've been our spiritual companions since the dawn of time. At this moment, they have lessons to share with you that will open your heart and soul. Now, you may not have animals in your life. In fact, in reality, kind of like what I was using as an example earlier, perhaps you're a person who doesn't even like animals. But there is this quality to animals in general that each one is created as uniquely as we are. In fact, the animal kingdom, to include insects and pretty much all living creatures, is a great example of the intelligent design. There are so many creatures in the world, so many species, and so many subspecies under those species, and each one with a very specific role to play. And that we've seen what happens when one of those species is taken out of the bigger picture. And that can destabilize an entire ecosystem. And that's really what you're being asked to understand here now, is that you're being asked to express this part of yourself now because you're meant to fulfill the role that you were created to fulfill. And if you don't fulfill this role and take action towards it from a place of courage and faith, there's a possibility that you could actually be destabilizing both yourself on a spiritual level, but also the collective experience, instead of filling a role in elevating that place and our collective experience, as well as missing out on this ability to finally feel like you're tapping into who you are, using your light, using the abilities that were gifted to you as a soul being. And the emotional fulfillment and sense of peace and happiness that comes with that. And then we have Starseed down here, and it says, what lights you up? And this is the culminating pivot point here for coming down here, is if you're wondering, okay, what is this? How do I need to share this? Well, this is a great question that you're being asked as Spirit is, kind of encouraging you to move forward. What's that one thing that lights you up right now? And this doesn't have to be you going back in time and doing this intense soul retrieval that, well, what did I used to like to do, and then what did I do then, and what did I do now, and what about the future? It's about, you're being asked what lights you up in this moment, because you're being asked to make a decision in this moment. Not in the future, not trying to bring something forward from the past. It's what lights you up now. And that's going to be where what you need to express authentically, what you need to take action towards, and what will give you that faith and help burn away when you think about illuminating yourself from the inside out, kind of building that soul power. What will burn away fear and anxiety is the faith and the gratitude you have for that thing right now that lights you up. Because so many people at certain points in their life can't even pinpoint what that is, but there is something calling within you. So be grateful for that, and be grateful that the more you turn on in your internal flame, the more you're going to burn through the illusion and burn through the fear and anxiety to simply just start taking action and sharing this beautiful part of yourself. I can see kind of why I didn't get a chance to do this reading earlier, because I feel like this message needed to come through now for you guys. After we've gone through our eclipse season, which had us go through a full moon lunar eclipse last month in May, and then on June 10th, so just a few days ago, we had a new moon solar eclipse. And that eclipse portal really was some intense energy. It was pushing us to go into the dark to come into the light. So to see what needed to be released, to be able to see what we're moving into, and to be able to be receptive for these type of messages from the divine. And I think for you guys, especially with Pisces, having that ability to tap into the darkness and into the light, you guys might have gone really deep and dark and then gone really high and bright. And now there's this element of balancing out where you are having a moment of clarity. And I think for moving basically from the second half of the month and forward, this clarity that you're going to have that most signs will not, because you do have a couple planetary placements that are in your favor right now specifically that other signs don't have. I really think you're going to be utilizing this clarity to have this breakthrough, to have this moment, to have understanding, and to get back to a place of personal power, and perhaps appreciating yourself for the first time in a way that you've never done so. Because come July, we're going to be asked to really step into that role in our ecosystem to be of service, to start playing with our gifts. So that come 2022, which is a year really of actualization and activation, we're going to each be called individually to step up into a position of leadership in a specific area. And no, this doesn't mean that leadership like you're going to be the president of the United States or the CEO of your company, but you are going to be asked to become a leader in utilizing both your divine given gifts, which is Pisces. Your divine given gifts are that of being able to see the dark and the light and navigate both, and be able to express and create from that place of being able to demonstrate to everyone in the zodiac, but everyone as well, that you can dive deep and you can go high, but that you ultimately, it's about bringing those two together, and why it's necessary to have the dark, to not shy away from the dark. That in order to transmute, we need both. And that's your superpower, is to be able to actually illuminate what's even brighter than pure light and pure darkness. It's the blending of both. It's a hard concept to explain, right? But somehow you guys grasp it. So you're going to be asked to step up into utilizing your divine gift in conjunction with a specialized gift of your own. And that is going to help elevate everyone at the same time as it's going to help bring in true abundance for yourself, true abundance on a soul level. All right, Pisces, I hope you have enjoyed this reading. I look forward to seeing you all in July for your next reading, which will be much earlier than this one, I promise. And you should also check back here, because I will be releasing a second video, which is kind of a follow-up to this one, which will focus on the areas of love, abundance, and spiritual health specifically. And that should be released probably in the next week for you guys. All right. Have a fantastic rest of June. I can't wait to see what each one of you gets to express and share with all of us. And if you'd like, feel free to write it in the comments as to what clarity you're having as to what you want to share with the world. I'd love to know. All right. Bye, Pisces.